Hey everybody, it's Connor Onion. The Saluki Standards podcast is brought to you by McAllister's Deli in Carbondale, located on East Main Street across from the mall. That's McAllister's Deli in Carbondale. This week we're talking with Saluki Football senior linebacker Bryce Notree, and he'll take us inside some of the agonizing decisions that football players have had to vote on the past couple weeks. And Quay Brown has announced that he's transferring, the leading tackler from last year's team. Will that be an anomaly? Or will we see more of that? We'll ask Bryce about that. And also hear some great stories from Bryce's childhood as well. Great conversation coming up. Soccer has also had fall competition shut down. Their leading goal scorer last year was freshman Liz Brechtel. And we'll get into a lot with her in the back half of the show. But first, Bryce Notree of Saluki Football. Bryce, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing okay. World's spinning a little bit. I'm sure it is for you. Just take me through what you've been feeling the past couple of weeks with all this news that's happened.
I feel like the biggest word that I've heard a lot is uncertainty moving forward. And I know that it's been a lot of guys out here that's been thinking about what's going to happen moving forward. But I feel like here at SIU, the coaching staff, everybody around us, administration has done a good job of trying to keep us level-headed. That's given us time to think about situations and certain decisions that we need to make as an individual. So as in regards to that, I know I can say on behalf of all the players that we thank them for that, and we know that they're looking out for us.
Coach Hill talked to media yesterday, and he kind of said the mindset is, yes, it stinks, but we can't sit around and complain. We got to keep working. But was there a moment where, you know, a human moment where it's like, man, this really does suck, and yeah, I want to be playing this fall?
Yeah, I felt that plenty of times. Honestly, I think one of the biggest things was I remember telling one of the coaches that, am I wrong for one of my senior season to be as normal as possible? You know what I'm saying? And it's just like the other half of it is I'm willing to do anything as far as like getting my temperature checked, getting tested every week in order just to play. So it was just weighing in on everybody.
So is the spring better for you in that sense, that maybe you can have a little bit of normalcy and just focus on playing and not being poked and prodded every single day for COVID?
Oh yeah, for sure. That seems more like a more helpful plan for us, you know.
So when you guys are getting this news that, okay, maybe conference games are going to be canceled, but maybe we can play some non-conference games, it ultimately ends up being no games in the fall. But what were the options initially presented to you guys that you kind of had to hash out as a team?
I think the options were either playing in the spring and playing 8 games and then playing no conference games with the hope of playing for a spring championship. And another option was to play 3 non-conference games now and then wait until the spring to finish out the season. And then another option was just to wait until next fall. So, I mean, we got together as a team and we thought about the best options and everything like that. So we was leaning towards the 3 conference games and then playing in the spring. But as everybody was seeing, that they canceled all, fall competition. So
you guys wanted, the majority wanted to play some games in the spring, even though it might be a one-off or just a couple of games?
Yeah, everybody was leaning towards the big, because we wanted that Kansas game, to play here in the upcoming weeks. So we was leaning towards those 3 games here, get those in, and then just go back to the drawing boards until spring happens.
So from a fan's perspective, I think it was pretty obvious that the department wanted to play that Kansas game because there was going to be a payout for the department. Right. But from a player's perspective, why play those games that don't technically count toward your conference record or toward any sort of championship and just play a couple of them in the fall? Why'd you guys want to do that?
Well, speaking for myself, I know for a fact that it's a good chance, step in that environment, get that experience at a Power 5 school and all these things like that. And also it's a good way to get exposure. And talking to a lot of guys on the team, I'm real adamant about what people want to do, how they see things, and all those stuff like that. So I saw a lot of people thinking of Kansas as being their gateway into opening a lot of people's eyes as far as scouts and all this other stuff like that. So I thought that's one of the reasons why a lot of people was fighting for that game. And of course, because we think we could go up there and beat them. So just to hear that we had Kansas on a schedule, it fired us up, knowing that we were a good enough team to actually make some noise going up there.
You've got all these decisions to weigh. What's best for the team, what's best for me individually. All 100-plus guys kind of had that dichotomy going on. Was there some tense moments trying to figure out what you guys wanted to do as a unified voice?
Yeah, for sure. It was a lot of tough moments, a lot of tough conversations between us. As leadership council, it was probably the most stressful time for us, just trying to get everybody on the same page. And then I think that one thing that we were good at doing, like just keeping everybody together, there's been times where people was going against each other's words or anything like that, but we did a good job of keeping everybody together and kept our best foot forward. So
it sounded like you were one of the guys that wanted to play.
Yeah, sure.
I know you've got dreams of playing at the next level, so that Kansas game, some of those other games like you're talking about could open some eyes. So what was a harder day for you? The playoffs getting, you guys finding out you're not going to be in the playoffs last year on selection day, or the fall getting canceled this year?
That's tough. That's a real tough question. I think I have to be this fall getting canceled because, not getting into the playoffs, we knew what team we had and we knew what we was capable of. So it just added fuel to the fire to what we wanted to do more. And then with us leading up into the season and then this happening, it's like, oh wow, like it's just a step back, you know what I'm saying? But we're taking it day by day, and we're having the right positive attitude about it. So
I don't want to over dramatize it like it's like life or death or anything like that. But were the feelings of grief pretty similar though? It's kind of a lost season in a different way.
Yeah, leaving the stadium, it was kind of like the same as leaving the arena on selection day. So it was pretty tough.
Sure. It sounds like a lot of the roster will stay intact. Just as far as how it relates to your defense, I saw Quay Brown put his name in the transfer portal. How much talk is there around what Quay decided to do with some of the other pieces on that defense?
I think that it's an opportunity for a lot of players, right now, especially for guys that were in the boundary at safety that's behind Quay. Quay brought a lot of energy. He was one of those guys that we leaned on. He made a lot of plays, and he knew the defense very well. And there's some big shoes to fill, but we have some talent back there, like for sure. So it's just exciting to see what's going to happen moving forward now that we have people that's really competing for a spot and putting the pieces together. So
you think that'll be more of an anomaly? There won't be like a mass exodus of people leaving and going to the portal?
Oh, no, I don't see that happening. We have something going on here. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a big thing for people, to make that decision. And kudos to Quay because, I couldn't stop him from leaving because it's just like, why would you? You know what I'm saying? It's an opportunity for him. So I'm just happy to see what's going to happen for him.
Yeah, he said something interesting. I kind of want to get your thoughts on this about your defensive coordinator, Jason Petrino. He said that's one of the best coaches that he's ever played for. You got to play for him for the first time last year, and defense saw some significant improvements from the previous season. What do you think of 1 year under Coach Petrino?
Oh, I could agree with that. I've seen so much change in every single player on this team since he's been here. And he's opened our eyes to what we were really capable of. And for him to do that, that's like the biggest thing to us, He made us feel like we were a lot more than what we were in the past years, and he's found a way to make us play that way. So I can agree that he's definitely one of the greatest coaches I played for. So yes.
In your mind, what was the biggest change from the way the defense played from I guess it would have been your sophomore year to your junior year last year?
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing is just the effort. Like when you turn the film on, you see guys running, like just running to get to the ball. And it's heartwarming to see that, because I remember in past years it wasn't like that. And we didn't even know it until, like I said, Coach Petrino came in. He set this culture, and he put these standards on the board, and he told us that this is how we're going to be, and this is what we have to do in order to be the number one defense in the Missouri Valley Conference. So seeing that is just, it's just a testament to him, his coaching, and everybody else on the coaching staff. And yeah, like I said, the biggest thing I've seen change is the effort. We've always had the athletic ability. It's just, getting to the ball is just one thing.
Yeah, I'm curious how it was for you, because you guys had, this exciting run last year where you're on the doorstep going to the playoffs. You've got a new system defensively. You guys are playing well, but you're fighting the injury, and you can't be out on the field with your guys. I mean, what were your feelings kind of surrounding all those things swirling around you personally?
It was tough for sure. From the day that it happened to the day I got off the surgery table, all that, the process was long. But the thing about it was I just stayed positive throughout the whole thing. I didn't want to be that guy that seemed down when everything was, looking to pick up. So I wanted to be the one to exert the energy, stay positive, have people feed off my positivity, and other stuff like that. I wanted to be that guy that they look at and they be like, why am I, upset that I'm not getting the ball here or not getting this rep or this and that, because he's not even out here right now. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be the burden to the team. So I just kept it as that, keeping the positive outlook.
From being out there, you were still talking though, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know you probably heard me a few times.
Well, I was thinking, it was obviously disappointing that you couldn't be out there, but it was, the silver lining for me at least was I got to talk to you at practice when you were rehab and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when we weren't talking, you were always hollering at your guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of that, I was watching the mic'd up that you did during winter workouts. That was a cool video. It got me thinking, with all the personality and the awareness of the camera that you clearly had. You knew where the camera was at all times, it seemed like. Have thoughts of acting ever crossed your mind?
That's crazy that you say that, because, my friends tell me that I have a big personality. My mom always told me that I have a big personality. I feel like all of it is just put into me from the people that's around me, People will tell you that if I'm around one person or if I'm in a closed door or just chilling, I'm not always like that. It's brought out of me. So that's just a statement to all the people that surround me. I'm most comfortable around, my teammates, people in the staff, people around the building, and y'all see the best of it. I'm just, a happy guy.
Were you that way as an underclassman? Were you brave enough to speak your mind and let
I think that's a little bit? I think that's the thing. Yeah, I think that's what's giving me my, my title now. I've always been that kid that's, I came in dancing all the time, cracking jokes with the older guys, upperclassmen, and all that stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's giving me my title now.
Did they kind of look at you at first like, who is this guy? Who is this big person?
Yeah, they did, but it's just I was also coming in killing all the workouts too. So they was just like, okay, this kid, he can talk, but he can also, actually back it up.
Work hard, joke hard.
Exactly.
A little bit more serious of a tone to this question, but when you think about all the moments that have led up to your senior season, being one of the leaders on this team, playing Division I football, competing for the playoffs, what are you most proud of in overcoming when you think about your story?
I think the biggest thing probably has to be, I think just me adapting in general, to a lot of things throughout my entire life, not just my career. A lot of people may know that I moved from Decatur, Illinois to Texas and started a whole new journey there. And I just know that everywhere that I've went, I've always had to overcome some type of adversity. And being there in high school was people thinking I wasn't talented enough to play in Texas football. But I used that as a motivation to go out there and be dominant, which I was, and then to get this opportunity here. And like you said last year, that injury that I had, I kept moving forward with the idea of coming back that same year. I didn't want to, not play at all. So I think those are the two biggest things that I had to overcome. And looking back on it now, I think it's probably the best thing that's ever happened to me because it shaped me as a player and as a man. So,
how did you react when your parents told you were moving from Illinois to Texas?
I couldn't believe it at first because, Decatur was all we knew. And I had everybody that I needed in that area. So it was kind of hard to believe that we were going to be moving to a whole another environment. I didn't see it happening. My mama would talk about it, but I was just thinking that she was just talking. So when it happened, it was just a surreal feeling to go from Decatur, soybeans and ADM, and then going to Dallas, Texas, where there's just so much life and so many people and so many things to do. It was crazy.
I'm thinking about high school football there too. They've got a reputation down there.
Man.
Were they scoffing at the kid from Illinois? Like, who's this guy that thinks he can come in here and play our style of football?
It was, yeah. I turned some heads at first just off my size alone. I was always been a big kid, but going out there and like seeing those kids like that was as big as me or bigger, it was kind of mind blowing to me because I was always the biggest kid on my team in Decatur, and those kids out there big, like huge as freshmen. So it took a lot of adapting and adjusting, but once I got my feet, I was out there with the rest of them playing well. And think about Texas, you go against 4 or 5 stars every week, so you have to be on your A game, and competition level is high. So yeah, it's a lot of pride around there too.
How do you think where you ended up now would have been different if you didn't make that move?
Who knows? I mean, I probably wouldn't have played football. I wouldn't have moved to Texas. I probably would have stuck with basketball because that was heavy on my mind too. I mean, my parents told me that we moved to Texas for me to play football. So once they told me that, I was like, oh yeah, this basketball's over with. I mean, I need to stick with football. So yeah, that was one of the biggest things.
That's crazy because your dad was pretty cold on the basketball court, right? I mean, he played in Illinois, got some pro looks. So they were pushing football on you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, people always think that just because my dad played basketball that he wanted me to play basketball, but that was never the case. He wanted me to do whatever I wanted to do, whatever I was, happy with. He was always strong on me making my own decisions for myself. And he didn't want to live through me, you know what I'm saying? He felt like he had his time where he was an athlete and he had his accolades, and he wanted me to just pursue my own career and do my own thing and have my own accomplishments. So,
does he ever throw on his tape for you?
Oh yeah, I've seen him put it. And the thing about it is, we had this conversation before, and I was talking to this radio host, and he was telling me like, "Has your dad ever, told you about his past and how he did this?" And I was like, he never had to tell me. Like, it was just people around him would tell me. So that's how I knew it was legit. Like, he never had to tell me anything.
He would have played overseas. You might have been young, right? Like when he was playing in Russia and Puerto Rico.
He was in Russia, Puerto Rico, and he took me and my mom with him to Greece whenever he was there for a few years.
Okay, so you grew up internationally then?
Yeah, somewhere like that. I still got my passport from whenever I was like 2.
Do you remember that? You remember?
I don't remember it. I don't remember that.
No.
My mom told me that we used to go to the beach in Greece, but I don't remember. I still, in my head, I haven't been to a beach because I was just so young. I haven't remembered it.
Yeah, you're bilingual and don't even know it. Final one for you. I mean, the NFL dream is there for you. You've got the professional aspirations, and we talked about potentially turning some heads in those non-conference games. I mean, what will it take for you to start to get some of that attention that you're seeking from the next level? What do you think it'll take this year?
The biggest thing will be consistency. If I can prove, I feel like a lot of people coming in have seen me. They see that I have the intangibles, I have the size, what I'm saying, like that. And I think they just need to see that I'm consistent. I can do it every week. I can come to practice every week. I can be that leader that they need. and I just have to perform well in each game that I play. And if I do that as consistently as I can and do it every week in and week out, I'm obviously going to turn some heads because I feel like I said, I have the size and the speed. And then it's just all everything else is just the know-all factor. So moving forward with that, I feel that's the biggest thing for me.
A lot of hard work ahead to get there. I know you know that, but no football this fall, at least competitive games. What's something you're going to do that you wouldn't normally have time to do this time of year?
Play a lot of basketball and a little bit of video games. Those are some things that I don't get to do a lot. So I feel like I'm gonna do a lot of that.
What are you playing?
I like Call of Duty, 2K. Really like 2K. I like Madden. I like a lot of role-playing games too. So like Assassin's Creed, those type of games like that where I get to jump around everywhere. So I like that type of stuff.
Okay. All right. Maybe people listening will see you on the live then. We'll see you on the live.
Yeah, hopefully. I got to get on my PlayStation Network.
All right, man. I appreciate the time, and it's always good talking to you. Hopefully we can do it in person soon.
Of course, man. It's always good.
Thanks to senior linebacker Bryce Notree for his time. Up next is Liz Brechtel of Saluki Soccer, sophomore this year. She's a forward from Joliet, Illinois, and she led the Salukis in goals last year with 6 of them and closed out the year with a hat trick. And she also scored a goal in that exhibition against Southeast Missouri State that opened the exhibition schedule at home. So a lot to get into with Liz. Here is Liz Brechtel. Liz, it's great to talk to you. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's great to be here.
Just kind of take me through the range of emotions these past few months with, what's been an uncomfortable situation for many.
Oh God. It's been all over the place, so much like uncertainty and just who knows what's going to happen next. And every decision has just been made. Like every decision has been changed by the hour pretty much with all this. But, we're trying to keep our heads up, trying to get through
here. Here we are. Well, the most recent news is, of course, that you guys are going to try to move your season back, postponed for now, no fall season. What was the reaction to that?
The initial reaction was, devastation from all of us. Like we really wanted to play this fall. We were really looking forward to it, but we understand the circumstances that are happening right now. And for me, like the way I see it, we didn't really get a spring season. We got cut short, so we're going to use the fall, use the time as much as we can and capitalize on it. Use it as teaching for a lot of people and like get organized and everything right now. So just capitalizing on the time that we have right now. So
yeah, there's been a lot of talk of maybe being within your team and kind of your bubble might actually be safer than just staying home and being out in the community. Is that consistent with how you feel? Do you feel pretty safe in the environment you guys have been in?
Yeah. Right now, all of us have really just been seeing each other. We stay home as much as we can. We just really the only time we go out is for practice. So we've been staying home, and I trust my teammates that they'll make the right decision, and I know that they can trust me too. So it's been tough, but we definitely feel safe.
I'm curious with classes starting back up. You kind of told me you're in the hybrid category where it's kind of in person but mostly online. It sounds like it's mostly online for you. Just being back on campus, what's it like being a student in this environment right now?
It's not great right now. I love the campus at SIU, and I loved last year, like walking from class to class, and not being able to have that kind of sucks. Just being locked in my room all day. It is what it is. Just gotta go with the flow with it.
You're getting into graphic design, so you were telling me you're pretty artistically inclined. What's the piece of art that you've designed or worked on that you're most proud of?
Ooh, I probably have to say over the summer, I started painting shoes, and I did a pair of like Chicago themed shoes where I did like the skyline and like a galaxy background and then like the Chicago flag on the back. So I'm kind of proud of those.
Is that something just for display, or are you actually rocking those on campus?
I made them for my boyfriend, and he wears them all the time.
Wow. Well, I want to get into your soccer background a little bit too. From your upbringing and getting to this point of being a Division I athlete, something I'm sure you've dreamed about for me in a long time. What do you think is the toughest thing you've had to overcome to get to this point?
Oof. Probably my confidence. In high school, I struggled a lot with that. During club and everything. I went through some hard times, and I definitely lost a lot of confidence playing soccer, and didn't really have a lot of faith in myself that I'd make it to play in college and be happy with it. But as time went on, things got better. I started to gain my confidence back, and it definitely showed on the field. And I was lucky enough to get a scholarship here. So
why do you think it was lacking for a little bit, that confidence?
Club was a difficult time, a little bit for me. I loved it, don't get me wrong. But just the environment was a little rough, and like the age change hit hard for me because I'm end of the year, and so I was playing with all the girls above me, and it was a rough time with what I was like being told as a player, and just listening to others and not being able to just tell myself that I can do it. Like I'm in charge of myself and how I play, not others.
The Eclipse Club, I'm a little bit familiar with the Eclipse Club. I grew up in the southwest suburbs in LaGrange, so a lot of players in that area go into that Eclipse Club.
Right.
A lot of state championships, regional championships, national championships. So I know it's very, very competitive. I mean, was it kind of culture shock? Is that kind of what you're getting at when you entered the club and had that competitive environment?
I had been with the club since I was, I think, 12 or 11. So I had been used to it for a while, and I knew the coaches, and I was used to how the coaches coached and played. It was really just it was more so like player environment than coaching, but it definitely changed as like years went on. There was just one like chunk that my confidence fell. But
What got it back? How'd you regain that confidence?
I'm trying to think. I like blocked all this from my memory. It was, I think, I'm going to be honest, I think it was when I started contacting Grant. It was around that time because, I'm going to skip ahead and talk about my recruitment process, but my recruitment process wasn't a great one. I talked with, a lot of coaches from all over, just different divisions. Nothing really stuck. And it was getting pretty late into what I thought was the recruitment process for girls, pretty late in the process. But, we found out that SIU was having a women's soccer team. And when my parents told me about that, I felt like, like this could be my chance. And when, I contacted Grant and he came to a couple of my games, I was like, all right, this is my shot. Like I have to play for me. I have to do this for myself. And I think that's when I started gaining all my confidence back.
So it kind of felt like you were almost on your last leg in recruiting, and then along comes this new program, and it's almost like you have new soccer life.
Right. Yeah. It gave me hope that I could do it. So it was that last little drive at the end.
What do you remember about your first conversation with Grant?
He was very, very friendly, very friendly guy. I remember, getting off the phone and being like, okay, this is different from like club coaches, because Grant's very fatherly to us, I would say. And, hearing how like he was very, very kind to me and my family. And, he told me what all he was about right from the get-go. Like he wants to, start off strong with the first year program. He wanted, good morals and a good team environment. And, the way he described it all to me, I loved, and like that was the type of coach that I wanted to play for.
I want to ask about the SEMO match. That was the exhibition, the first one at home. Over 2,000 people show out for that first match, and you score a goal against SEMO.
Yeah.
Take me through that moment. What was that moment like?
Oh, God. So I got fouled in the box. I don't remember entirely how it happened, but I got fouled in the box. I laid there for a second because I didn't realize that it was in the box. I thought it was still outside. And then, Maddie Myring comes over. She picks me up. She's like, all right, PK. And so I walk up to go take it. And in my head, I'm like, just don't miss. Don't miss this. I had been practicing, shooting with my shooting trainer at home all summer, and we practiced PKs. I was like, stay calm, don't miss, don't look at the goal. You know where the goal is at. You know where you need to shoot. Don't give the goalie any hints as to where you're going. So when the whistle blew, I took a deep breath, ran up, shot, and it went in. So thankfully.
I know your teammates come and mob you, as is customary in soccer when you score a goal, but in that moment, can you feel the crowd? I mean, that crowd exploded. I mean, that's the first goal that Saluki Soccer fans have ever seen. Could you feel that in the moment, or is that something that took a while to process?
I definitely felt it in the moment. It took a couple seconds to realize, because you kind of tune out the crowd. When we were all in the huddle, I could hear all the fans just cheering, screaming, yelling, and it was a really surreal moment. It was insane. I don't think anything could compare to that for me, honestly.
Is that a better moment than the hat trick to close out the season?
Ooh, yeah, I'd have to say so, because it was more fun being able to share that first goal with so many people from SAU. So
hat trick's not bad either, though, especially in the season. That's a way to finish.
That was a great way.
Before we finish, I noticed behind you Beatles poster.
Yes.
I'm assuming that means you're a Beatles fan. You've got them walking across Abbey Road. Favorite Beatles song?
I have to say Blackbird. That's one of my favorites from the White Album.
Okay. You said you're artistically inclined, going for graphic design. Are you musically inclined too?
No, not in the slightest. I wish, but...
You're just a listener? You're not a singer?
Yes, just a listener.
Well, good taste in music. I like it.
Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for the time.